I want to talk a little rookie running back, which transitions nicely to Ashton Jeanty, who, after having negative rushing yards in his debut, shades of Trent Richardson, ready to write him off after 3 carries in the preseason.
Yeah, bust.
Jeanty looked a lot more like what we had anticipated as a generational-ish type of really good prospect. I can't believe I just said generational. We'll cut that out as well.
Well, you said generational-ish.
Ish. Yeah. That's how I copped out.
Yeah.
35 yards and trucked a dude and looked pretty good.
A starter, so it counts.
It counts against starters.
I think it was a Lenore as well.
I like this. Thank you for producer Will. Plus 6 rushing yards over expected per next-gen stats. I like that.
I mean, look, it was like the week 1, it's like 3 carries, didn't do anything, bust. Week 2, we're basically talking one play. One play, he trucked a dude, stiff-armed in the ground, ran, had a bunch of extra yards. He then gets in for a touchdown as well, so it's not quite just one play. But that was the big play.
That was a good touchdown, too, running through
contact. Yeah. But it was an example of that. Like, he had that line of it's still tackle football, right? So take the guy they can't tackle. I mean, that was an example of that. His college tape was absurd in terms of broken tackles. And, okay, this was only one, but it was against a legitimate starter, absolutely ran over a corner. That's what they want him to do. Like, that's the play. That is the play that shows this is exactly what you wanted Ashton Jeanty to do, is get one-on-one with a DB and run right over the top of him.
And again, going back to what I keep referencing that is very difficult to quantify, it feels like if I'm building an offense, I want to build it with a variety of playmakers that have a variety of skill sets that just put pressure on the defense. I say this about the Ravens a lot. Good luck on back-to-back plays if you're a linebacker having to deal with Derrick Henry and having to deal with Lamar Jackson, both in the open field. You got to tackle both guys. Speed and quicks or the power of Derrick Henry. Then you have a Zay Flowers. Then you have a Mark Andrews. You have all these different types of players. The Raiders having Jeanty as just a good overall runner with this type of power and physicality. By the way, I think Jack Besh at receiver brings a physicality that not a lot of receivers bring. Thornton with his size and speed. Brock Bowers, one of the as uncoverable as it gets at tight end. It's a unique group for the Raiders from a playmaker perspective. And this is what, when we went back to, do you take Ashton Jeanty at 6? That's the argument for it, right? It's like, all right, he's going to bring something to the table that other players don't. And if we stack a bunch of these guys, that's our way to win. So it's an intriguing group with the Raiders because of, I think, the pressure that they're going to put on defenses. Maybe not right away, but you saw flashes of this from Jeanty this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I think the confidence level that Jeanty is going to be a good NFL player was extremely high at draft time. I think it's still extremely high now. It's one play to basically counteract the week 1 of, he didn't do anything on 3 carries. To me, though, I think there were more interesting performances from some of the other rookie running backs who did not have that, insanely high level of confidence that they are going to be good right away.
Who do you want to mention?
TreVeyon Henderson.
TreVeyon looked good again.
And in a different way
than
he looked the first week. That's what's fascinating about TreVeyon Henderson. Week 1, it was like, wow, look at the speed that dude's bringing to the table. Kick return, a wide play where he just outruns everyone and looks like a different speed. This was almost the exact opposite of that. It was some power. It was some patience. It was some lower-the-shoulder bounce-off contact against the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, TreVeyon Henderson, and by the way, was going through Will Campbell tape, and there's a couple of plays where you're like, look at Henderson chipping in with the little pass protection. That was that was his maybe biggest strength as a prospect, is that dude in pass protection for a running back is insane. So that's now, in the space of 2 weeks, almost the entirety of the skill set needed ticked off as, yep, that's all a plus.
I think that's really well said, right? Because we did talk about his pass protection coming out. You've seen that. You've seen the big playability. And I know it was the Vikings' backups. We always have to preface if they were facing backups or starters. But, yeah, running through tackles for that touchdown, like that should not have been – I don't know what the rushing yards over expectation there were, but it was probably 1 or 2, and he turns it into a 7-yard touchdown. So you're right. He's done all of that. He's also he ran a wheel route. The throw was kind of there. He didn't make the catch. You're hearing a lot of, at practice, wheel route, TreVeyon Henderson, wheel route, TreVeyon Henderson. His dynamism in the pass game is going to be used. And when we talk about running backs in the pass game, I think they're used in 2 different ways. There are some offenses that use them as part of the pass concept, where you're going to read the field and the running back is part of the read, right? You'll high-low it or whatever it is, and it's a flat, or it's in McDaniel's offense, you're going to get a lot of option routes. You're going to get those wheel routes. Think James White running out of the backfield or Kevin Falk running out of the backfield. He's going to have opportunities there. That's different from a lot of offenses just have the running back as a check down option. That's not how McDaniels runs his offense. You are a part of the pass concept. So I think Henderson's receiving ability, athleticism, the fact that you can keep him in there on third down in pass protection, and now he's running with power. He's got full 3-down skill set. So I think there's a point in the season, much like Jahmyr Gibbs never really overtook David Montgomery, but I think it's because David Montgomery's just been really good. I think there's a point early in the season where TreVeyon Henderson overtakes Ramondre Stevenson, becomes the full 3-down option because he can do it all within that offense. Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action.
But that's the critical part, is because he's already so advanced as a pass protector, he can be out there in all situations. Like, he is going to get a ton of opportunities in the pass game that other young running backs don't get because they can't trust him to be out there in pass snaps, right? Like, they can't trust the guy to make the right read, verify there is no blitz, and then release. Henderson can be out there for every single one of those snaps because you trust him to make that read, and if there's no threat to the quarterback, then go out into the pass pattern and make a play.
So Henderson, another week. I mean, for a lot of these players, Tesla, Henderson, it's just you continue to tick boxes every single week and continue to produce. And, yeah, it's preseason, but that's generally telling. Any other rookie running backs you wanted to highlight?
You wanted to talk R.J. Harvey, right?
I wanted to talk R.J. Harvey. I don't know if you had someone else that in mind. Harvey with the Broncos, second-round pick. By the way, it feels like a loaded running back room for the Broncos, especially because our guy Audric Estime looks like an afterthought right now and maybe doesn't even make the team. We'll see what happens there. But Harvey found the end zone, just a handful of carries. But this is 1 week after some Broncos fans were questioning R.J. Harvey. Why is he bouncing out so much? And I was thinking, man, that's what he was doing at UCF. That's a little concerning. I liked him coming out, and my one biggest concern was like, he's trying to bounce out too much. It might not work at the NFL level. I hate that he's not following his blocking. When you don't follow your blocking, you put a lot of pressure on them. You pick up holding calls that aren't even the blocker's fault. Harvey, it was almost like Peyton said, dude, you're staying between the tackles this week. Show me that you can run between the tackles. And he did it, and he looked good because he's low center of gravity, tough to tackle, running between the tackles, finishing runs. And if he does that, R.J. Harvey looks good as a second-round pick. And then you pick your spots when you're going to bounce out. And I thought he did a really nice job. On a handful of carries, right. I think fixing some of the criticisms of week one and carrying that into week two.
The touchdown in particular was like exactly the play that you want to see. I mean, it was we talked about it last week or whatever. Those duo blocks, a lot of times those create bounce-out plays because it almost creates this pile right in the middle, right at the point of attack. And one of the reads or one of the ways that it opens up is there's nowhere to go here, but look, if I bounce outside, I clear the entire offensive line and I'm like one-on-one with a player in space. You see a lot of bounce-outs in those plays. Instead, Harvey stays patient, follows one of those blocks, and then runs like right behind the block of one of those linemen, ends up getting skinny through the hole and makes the play. Like exactly the type of play that you would want to see if you were concerned about a guy trying to bounce out too much.
The one thing I just want to add to this discussion here, we talked about Ashton Jeanty, number one running back off the board. Marion Hampton was the number two running back off the board. Then TreVeyon Henderson, if we've been raving about him, people might be wondering, well, why didn't he go in the first round? By the way, there were rumors that the Broncos wanted to take him at 20 in the first round. Well, Marion Hampton was the second back off the board. Don't sleep on him either, just because Henderson's getting all of his publicity. Hampton looked shifty, dynamic, difficult to tackle on just 2 carries the other night. So he hasn't had the same opportunities. But I have no concerns about Hampton, being as advertised for the Chargers as their first-round back either.
No, Hampton looked pretty good, albeit, in a couple of carries. Caleb Johnson for the Steelers, I thought looked very good as well. Like he had a very good game with a bigger workload. I think he had double-digit carries in that game. Like all these young running backs, I think are all pretty much looking good. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit this subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
The all-knowing algorithm is convinced that you'll like these videos as well. And frankly, who are we to argue?